puffed gone wrong. For senior high school boys, Ryan, James, Marco, and Lyle had been inseparable since the first day of school. Their friendship was built on shared interests, inside jokes, and a sense of loyalty that they believed would withstand anything. They had each other's backs, always. One afternoon, after school hours, Marco, known for his love of pushing boundaries, brought something unusual to the group, a tube-like substance. He called it a shortcut to excitement, a way to escape the pressures of their studies and the daily grind of school life. "Come on, just try it once," Marco urged, holding the substance out to the others. Ryan, the natural leader of the group, hesitated. He wasn't so sure about it, but the pressure to fit in and keep up with Marco's daring ideas was hard to resist. James and Lyle were already eyeing the substance, curiosity mixed with the peer pressure to go along with the group. Eventually, they all agreed to try it, thinking it would be harmless, a one-time thing just to break free from the stress of school. They never thought it would go further than that. What they didn't know was that someone had seen them. Jaica, a classmate who had always been known for her strong sense of right and wrong, had been walking by the classroom and noticed the commotion. Her instincts kicked in, and she quickly recognized what they were doing. Though she didn't want to get involved, she couldn't ignore it. Jaica believed in standing up for what was right, even when difficult. She quietly stepped away from the door and made a decision that would change everything. After some contemplation, she knew she couldn't let them continue down this path. Jaica couldn't let her friends make destructive choices, even if it meant facing uncomfortable situations. She recorded a video of the boys and sent it to their advisor, Mr. Vargas, with a message that weighed heavily on her heart. "Mr. Vargas, I hope you can understand why I'm sending this. This could lead to bigger problems down the line. Please take the necessary steps." The next day, the boys went about their schoolwork, unaware that their actions had been documented. They were still laughing about the fun they'd had the day before, not realizing that their friendship was about to face an immense test. Mr. Vargas, their advisor, was a calm and methodical man who believed in teaching students valuable lessons, especially when it came to making the right choices. Rather than addressing the boys directly, he took a measured approach. He understood that their actions were serious, and the consequences would be far-reaching. Without any hesitation, he forwarded the video to the Discipline and Guidance Office, knowing the right course of action was not to speak with them immediately but to let the process unfold. At 6:30 p.m. that evening, the boys were called down to the guidance office. Their hearts sank when they heard the news, and anxiety gripped them as they made their way to the office. None of them could figure out what was happening, but the gravity of the situation was clear. They entered the office, where Mrs. Reyes, the head of the department, awaited them with a calm but stern expression. Without wasting time, Mrs. Reyes played the video for them. "You four are in a very dangerous situation," she said. "What you've done is more than a mistake, it's a serious decision that could have severe consequences. I understand that peer pressure played a part, but that doesn't excuse your behavior. You've been suspended for 5 days. Use this time wisely to reflect on your actions." The boys sat there in stunned silence, unable to fully process what was happening. Marco, who had been the one to initiate the idea, looked down in shame. James and Lyle exchanged guilty glances, while Ryan, their leader, finally spoke. "We're sorry," Ryan said quietly, his voice filled with remorse. "We didn't think it would lead to something like this." Mrs. Reyes nodded. "That's the problem. You didn't think about the consequences, and now you're dealing with them." Lyle, who had been quiet throughout the meeting, finally spoke up. "But we're friends. I didn't want to let anyone down. I thought I could protect them." Ryan echoed the sentiment. "Yeah, I said, they are my friends, so I won't allow them to get punished," he said, recalling the words he had said earlier. Mrs. Reyes paused for a moment before responding. "The thing about friendship is this: true friends don't protect each other by enabling bad decisions. True friends help each other make the right choices, even when it's hard. Covering for each other doesn't protect anyone, it just allows mistakes to pile up. Loyalty means being honest, even when the truth is difficult to hear." The boys sat in silence, reflecting on Mrs. Reyes' words. They had thought they were helping each other by shielding one another from the consequences, but now they realized they were only enabling each other's poor choices. True loyalty meant holding each other accountable, not shielding each other from the inevitable consequences. The following day, when they returned to school after their suspension, Jaica approached them. She had heard about their suspension and was relieved to see they were okay, but she could sense the tension in the air. She knew her actions had caused a rift, but she also knew it was the right thing to do. "I didn't want to get you guys into trouble," Jaica said softly. "I just wanted to make sure you were safe. You're my classmates, and I care about what happens to you." Rian, who had previously been the most resistant to Jaica's actions, now saw her in a new light. He looked at her with gratitude and newfound respect. "I get it now," he said. "You were looking out for us, even when we didn't deserve it. We were too focused on our pride to see the bigger picture." James nodded in agreement. "You did the right thing, Jaica. We've learned that true friendship means being honest, even when it's uncomfortable." Jaica smiled, relieved that they understood. "I just want us all to make better choices. We can still be friends without making bad decisions." The boys left the conversation with a deeper understanding of friendship. They had learned the hard way that real friends help each other grow, even if it means facing uncomfortable truths and consequences. They realized that their loyalty had been misplaced, but they now understood that helping each other make better choices would strengthen their bond in the long run.